Well, I'm at my IHOP office, and I just wanted to touch base with you guys. Hi, this is your Sensei Al Bob coming to you on our dreamy dreamland with Sensei Al Bob station here on YouTube. Um, Still got the ick, but it's slowly going away. I'm drinking hot water and tea, and so it was raining really hard last night, and where I live, when it rains, it's like being in a boat. So I stayed in bed until the sun broke out. And it went from being rainy to being sunny, kind of like that, right? So got up because I wanted to talk to you guys because I when I wake up I have to meditate. And when I meditate, I see a number of my guides, and one of them is always the old crone, and Master Akashike and a few others in Namboa. If you were to go to find Potato Wolf on YouTube and look at the shows that I produced, and one of them being, hey Rhonda, good to see you. One called Tesla, A Man Out of Time, right? And it takes place in across the board of time, from when he was a young man to when he's, thrown on the bus by Morgan after Warden Cliffs, and he's, spending his time at the Wall Astoria and other hotels. And he basically is sitting. He spends most of his day talking to a white dove, of eternal love, and a little warm. And we got this fleecy thing on. So they'll skin here. So so I go to Shambhala and I see Maxwell and Tesla and Pythagoras and a bunch of others. Those are my masters, along with the old crone and Uncle Tony and Saint Germain. Anyway, I've been getting the 411 of what's going on. So that's why it's pretty good working for the corporate world, being able to look at trends, because I could kind of go into, into state and look at what's going on. And that's why I do these shows, because every time I do them, I shamanically prepare and put that energy out to you, even though you may not be cognizant. You are my adept, so I am teaching you as your sensei. And part of it, thanks again, guys. And so take a look at that YouTube channel. Somebody bought me a meal, which I never turned down. Anyway, 45. So Donald Trump is a very interesting character because he is a planetary disruptor. What he's doing will either change the world for something pretty good, or, we will be in Zardos land, right? One or the other, or somewhere in between. But W did the same thing. The pinheads of the new American century. They're people who tell them what to do. Gave them the illusion that they were going to whoa, this is going to be America's best. Oh wow, yeah, USA. No, sorry. It was done to disrupt what was trending. The assassination of Kennedy was to disrupt what was trending, and Woodrow Wilson going, basically starting Jim Crow and starting World War One. What was trending, because every time things were trending for the better, there's a disruption. right? But the disruption always has an unexpected consequence. Woodrow Wilson, all those statues that they're bemoaning, "Oh, don't take our history." I mean, they were all put up from the 1890s through the 1920s to, you know, perpetrate the motif of Jim Crow, you know. And then when Jim Crow forced black folk to be insulated and they became the seventh largest economy in the world, LBJ gave them civil rights. Wasn't that nice of him? And all he did was, brought urban renewal, which destroyed their neighborhoods. That you go to any city around America where there was a black, vibrant, economic black scene, bingo, they put a highway right through it, right? So New York City, and Robert Moses was the number one guy. He built all these beautiful beaches for the working classes, but to you had to have a car. That was the entrance to that gigantic parking lots. And because he was being paid by the oil companies to build those things, so people would get their car and drive there, give them a destination, go from Queens out there, right? They could have been, just, they were going to put a train line there, meaning the Long Island Railroad was just over there, just a little few more miles of railroad track, and bingo, they could go from Penn Station. No, they didn't want that. They wanted everybody to drive their car. And the bridges, roads going over the highway, Northern State, were these round things. So buses couldn't fit through. Cars could go through, trucks couldn't, buses couldn't. They did it on purpose. So only cars. And you look all around the United States and you will find things of this nature. And, back in the day when I was at Cooper Union and I was involved in the alternative technology department that was just starting up. I mean, I was there only, less than a year. And, we did things like we rediscovered, the great windmill. I mean, Donald Trump is right about everything he says. It's just he's like Bizarro. There was, the president and Bizarro president. But everything he's doing has a potential to be amazingly great for America, or not. But what he says about wind energy is true because those big pinwheels are a joke. Because in the times of Jimmy Carter, there were departments like us of from 1970 on. Then the oil embargo, everything was pretty much online. I was at a conference at MIT where it was all oil guys, especially Exxon, and they were all talking about the effect of carbon on the atmosphere, right? And what it was going to do. And they were talking about the greenhouse effect, 1971. And when I did the research, so wait, we could do your research. Well, good scientists go and look what other people did before they start going to the lab, and they went and saw that in the 19th century that the guys understood this, once they started burning coal, like in, ooh, surprise me.
See, I sneak up on you.
You do.
And I got your garlic bread coming.
Oh, good girl. Thank you, dearest. And so in London, when they started, England was the first place to really start being industrial. And they were like China, meaning they made really crappy stuff and then they went around the world and forced everyone to buy their crappy stuff. And that's why opium went into China, Chinese still aren't over that one. And, why India, they used to make the best linen, but, England went in there and said, nope, not you guys aren't, not even, we're going to get all our cotton from America. And that's why they promoted slavery. And that's why we had the Civil War. It wasn't about slavery. It was about England, France, and Russia wanting to get back into the United States, right? As imperial powers and take over. Hey, Eden, good to see you, bud. And so today is one of those, quintessential moments in time. And time is like these pins stuck in it. And everywhere there's a pin, there's a fork in the road. Go this way or that way. And when you experience um, deja vu. That's what you're doing. You're going down these railroad tracks of your existence, and then because it's called fate, there comes a point where there's a switch, and you can go off that track. But one wheel stays going this way, and the other wheel goes this way, and then you get spread apart, and then like a rubber band, you either go back to the track you were on or switch onto a new one. Today, I'm going to alter feel the fact that is one of those days. So what's going on? So just on a whim, you know, Donald Trump, who's the great, artist of the deal, makes a deal with Pinhead Turkey Boy.
Good. I don't know if she told you or not, but they already took care of your bill.
Thank you, buddy. And just on a whim, he said, "Oh, we're going to pull because, the Kurds had their own little land in Syria there that had been there for a long time, before Syria was Syria, before Assad, and they had cleared out ISIS, and the American military was just there as a backstop, and Donnie pulls them out, right? And that was the only place, that Libya's over there, Iraq's over here, Syria, they're all killing each other. That one little spot where the Kurds were, it was the one place where there was peace. And not only that, they were building a community that was non-secular, non-sexist. I mean, because a lot of the fighters against ISIS, the people who fought were women, and there were women leaders, colonels and majors and generals. And this was an example of something that was working. There wasn't no corruption. There were hospitals, keeping everyone healthy. And in less than a week, Donald Trump destroyed it all. That's why the Kurds are a little pissed. And so the United States is getting out of the Middle East because their eye is in outer space. We've already taken what they wanted from there. I mean, and then we have this election in Canada, and Mr. Trudeau, who's supposed to, he's this rock star, liberal, progressive. He does everything they don't want him to do. Right? The number one thing that got him elected was he was going to be the environmental prime minister, and he, backs the oil sands and the pipeline. And the people were like, "What?" And that's why he almost lost that one thing. But the powers that be control the levers, so he stayed in. And now we switch to New York City, where the state attorney general of New York State is suing Exxon because they realized Exxon knew all about global warming back in the 50s, before World War II. And this is like, they could never get Al Capone on murder or it was just on taxes. Well, in New York State, because the stock market was there, they got some serious laws about stock fraud. And so Exxon had been keeping two books on what was really happening and what they said was happening so they could sell their stock and make money. Thank you, Princess. And so, through discovery, all the emails, all the notes, all the everything's coming out about this, and they're going to have Rex Tillerson. How did he become Secretary of State? Going from CEO of Exxon to that? So, here we are, right? And it's, what happened just today is this little pin, this fork in the road. not to make a henchmen. And I'm out in the woods and I'm getting all that stuff. Right? So, and we're having a presidential election, you know, forget the Green New Deal. Who was the first big green people? What, GE 10 years ago? You know? And BP changed the logo from, you know, British Petroleum to Big Sun. Right? BP Energy. Right? And back in 1970, when, you know, I was at Cooper Union in the alternative technology department, we did, you know, the best wind. Who wind people? The Dutch. They had windmills. I mean, the Egyptians had them too, but instead of having those big things for sails going around, I had these barrels. I had vanes all around. And they got more torque out of that than the big thing because they didn't need gears and stuff. It was, you know, because the wind was doing this, they could, you know, go straight into whatever they wanted to drive that machine to do. And we made those. And Cooper Union owned a bunch of brownstones along 10th Street. And 10th Street kind of is still part of the old New York, and it went diagonally from the east side to the west side. From the bottom of the east side, Houston Street, kind of up to the top of West Village. They owned a bunch of brownstones there. It was like a wind tunnel. And the wind would come straight up the East River and shoot up to the Hudson. And these were all 19th century buildings that had big balances, you know, ledges. And we stuck these, you know, 55-gallon drums. We got these plastic 55-gallon drums and sliced things out of them and put vanes in them. And, you know, and put a mechanism that these things spun, the closer the vanes would get, to the point where it was spinning too fast, it would burn up the generator below. So they would come in and then the wind would just go around the drum. Well, we stuck them up on those ledges. We stuck, we made our own photo panels. And we made a digital device that took that 24 volts that we were generating, because the generators we got were 24 volt generators, but they were big. They were like for diesel ships, so they made a lot of juice, you know 20 kVA. And we had about 100 of them in that swash going up there. And we connected all those buildings together, and we synchronized the current and had a regulator that took the 24 volts and made it 110, 220. And then we made a digital meter that regulated the current to Con Ed's standard. And so if the wind wasn't blowing, we could get current from the utility, but it cut the utility bill, you know, by 90%, because that was a pretty windy space. And we triple insulated everything. We made our own triple insulated windows. We did all the things that are now state of the art. And we did that in 1970. And Cooper Union had enough money to do it on their own, but we wanted to bring it out to the general public, right? So we got a grant. And when we got a grant, it exposed us to the powers that shouldn't be. And they went after that department really seriously. Sued, you can't be part of it, and you can't have power lines going from building, but you can't have this, you can't have that. And what are these swirling things up there? You can't have those. You can't have, we had, collectors, solar collectors for hot water. Can't do that. We were turning, then we made our car that ran on hydrogen, and they wouldn't let us hook up to the Edison thing. We took that current and turned it into hydrogen and oxygen and stored it and then turned it with a fuel cell back into electricity. Oh, that's so dangerous. Well, freaking hydrogen is no more volatile BTU wise than natural gas. Right? And so Cooper Union, because it had so much money, was used and was very forward thinking, said, screw this. You want to sue us, we're going to sue you. So the reason why today you can put a solar panel on the thing is because Cooper Union sued everyone who was suing them. And had enough money to stay in court until the utility said, Uncle, hey there, coming to you in a while research. Today, research, it's one of those days. It's like a deja vu moment for the human race. We are hitting this fork in the road. And I just kind of spun a whole bunch of things that are happening today. The Kurds, Donald Trump, Exxon being brought to court because they knew all about, global warming, in 1891, right? And Mr. Rockefeller owned the oil industry. And the whole idea that fuel was fossil fuel came from this meeting in Paris. Many scientists were saying that oil was this synovial fluid of the planet, would always be there. And Rockefeller sent his scientists there because he wanted to figure out something that would enable, say, there's only so much of this stuff and we got to charge more for it. I mean, that's what the oil embargo was about. To get people have a sense of scarcity, right? So, and Donald Trump has done so many amazing things, and I can't call it good or bad because the unexpected consequence hasn't come down yet. But today, the next until 2035. Wow. Get ready for a ride, kid. I keep saying, this is window of opportunity. And I started this show May 8th. 2018. And so we're at the 14th month, meaning we're right at halfway of the window of opportunity. Remember I was talking about the 40 days and 40 nights and preparation, and, start doing your homework, find a place to be, all the rest, right? Okay, so that was 23 minutes and 33 seconds. I just laid down a lot of stuff. I will make my disclaimer again. Hi, I am your Sensei Bob. And here it's a sunny day. It was raining like a dog this morning. I stayed in bed. But once it got, sunny, I jumped out of bed, threw on my fashionable fleeced pants and my USA 45 hat. And it was cold when I got in the car. It's now warm. I should have put a t-shirt on. Don't believe anything I say. I'm just here. I'm your entertainer. I'm just here to give you a little insight on yourself and the world around you. Nothing is the way it seems to be. And we are about, keep a hold on your hat, kids, because you think the last 3 years was weird? Ooh-wee. So look at the puppets that they put up in the Democratic Party. And Donald Trump, he was just like John Birmingham. I done nothing wrong. who did everything to the law. Well, Donald Trump spent the last 50 years stealing and cheating and doing all the worst things that you're not supposed to do, but everybody else does them. He just did them in front of everybody. Now he's doing that in a political sense. And everything he says is true. Fake news. Well, news, of course, it's fake. It's been fake since, the Sumerians. It's never been true because who owns, every war we got in, Mr. Pulitzer, Mr. Herscott, and those wars, nobody wants to know the truth. Nobody wants to hear what I'm saying today, and that's for sure. You guys aren't making much about it. Anyway, now, right now, I'm really writing up a storm. Go to my Griot Publishing and look up, the hot pants, family values, what's it called? Starts with an M. Moral majority, family values, Black Widow, hot pants. So I put up the first 111 pages of this 500 pages I'm writing. I've just written about 150 pages in the last, since the weekend. So I'm really on a tear. And I last night spent a good 4 hours collating all the things I've written. And if you've gone to my xratted.blogspot.com and read any of that stuff, you can say, boy, Sensei Al Bob, what drugs is he on? It's called Stream of Consciousness. I follow in the great path of James Joyce and Hunter S. Thompson, and a few other. Also, Gord Vidal. He's another person I try to follow stylistically, and a whole bunch. And who's a sci-fi guy who wrote everything, and then he died poor, and then they made movies out of him. And what's his name? The guy who wrote what's it called? Blade Runner, right? What's that guy's name? Anyway, that period between, a little bit before Jules Verne and, the guy who wrote 2001, a sci-fi. But we keep having great sci-fi. The lady who wrote Handmaid's Tale, boy, her book great. She does pick that one, which is a sequel to Handmaid's Tale. So all this stuff is right in front of us, guys. And all we have to do is nudge the K. Dick. That's the guy who wrote that. We just have to be that little pebble. We are a cadre. Our force is strong. And all we have to do is every day in every way, take the piece of the earth and make it stronger. Right? Not get caught up in useless, petty. That's why the trolls don't bother me, because most of them are John. Because he feels so guilty about it, he won't even talk. Give him a call. Hey, how are you doing? I didn't do anything. It's all to the law. Click. Who cares? Bigger thing. I mean, he's a father. He's a parent. He's ignored his family for, 10 years before the kids were born. I think the wife left him. And, that's why I didn't have any kids. Because I knew once I had them, I'd have to double down. Right? So what I did do was became a godfather. I have 127 godchildren. And for a good 15-year period, I was that pebble in their life. I was the example. You know, when they had no place to stay, I put them in an abandoned building. I gave them a trade. They needed $10. I gave it to them. You know, anything more, not so much. But $10, not a problem. Always had 10 $10 bills in my pocket. Here you go. And so we have to step up to our life. And that's why I left the school. Couldn't do it anymore for John. But I could come here and be in solitude, and not just be in solitude, be around people. So, kind of get this meal. Came in, I was waiting for my table here. And the guy came over and said, I want to buy you lunch. I said, oh, that's great. And she's a person who works here, but she was not working. She was with her girlfriends on lunch here. And she said, I see you come in here at least once or twice a week and do this thing on your laptop and then talk to everyone. And you fix everyone. You talk to everyone personally. You read their do this. And you make, every time you go away and you're not here for a month or two, it's terrible. You come back, it's better. And that's what we can all be. You guys out there can be that with every second, every minute. Hey, fish. I think we're all doing well. I mean, I'm really sick, but I'm doing well. So she bought me this lunch. Didn't ask her. She just bought it. And right now, middle of the month is my toughest time, so I have no money. Or very little. I'm never have no money, because I have little money. So, question is, what are you guys gonna do? Subahead. I'm going to go over to the herb place. What is Sabah? I can pronounce it. What is that? I mean, that's one reason I came into this town, because it has herb store over there. Subdefed. Okay, I'll try that. Okay.
Still doing okay over here?
Yeah. I'm still alive. I'm still chewing on my spinach. Sudafed. Okay, thank you. Okay, I got that. Mucinex, yeah. So I was using Mucinex. On Sunday, I went to my army doctor who lives by me, and he said that he listened to me, and he had a little thing to put on your finger to say how much oxygen is. Like, so, he said, "But your lungs sound like you had pneumonia." But then he put a little thing on, and my body is converting when I breathe 98% into assimilated oxygen into my body. So he goes, "Oh, you don't have pneumonia." Because what it is we've had such a we live in a rainforest. And it's been, since May 10th until October 10th, it didn't rain, period. It was just sunny and hot, sunny and hot. And so all the fungi just dried up. And now we've had rain for the last 2 weeks, pretty much every other day. A good deal of it, like 4 or 5 inches, especially where I am. So all that stuff came out and it's going nuts. So my one thing I'm still kind of allergic to is fungus. Moldy stuff. And so that's what you, and he goes, so did you get a pneumonia shot and a flu shot? And I go, yeah. He goes, well, that's what your body's doing. And he said, your body, he said, man, you won't get pneumonia for the rest of your life. Your body's building something super duper antigens. And that's pneumonia and flu. So when the plague comes, I'll be fine. But he said it was this little dance of those three things. I got these inoculations, and that the mold has come super duper out, and that it's been raining really hard, and everything's soggy. That's why I'm kind of wheezing. So, but I'm going to go get the Sudafed and the other stuff too. So Anyway. Now, yeah, sometimes you need an x-ray. But that costs money. That's my medical doctor. This guy has 50 years of experience of being all over the world. And he was a medical doctor that was part of the CDC. So when, Ebola first came out, he was the guy there in the spacesuit. So that guy, kind of competence and experience counts more than any toy. I used to be an x-ray guy. Installing them, taking them apart. And it takes a lot to really see, people look at this black and gray thing and go, oh yeah, here it is. Now, CAT scans and MMRs are, more interesting. But anyway, I swear by my friend. And I've known him a long time. Yeah, I'm glad I have him too. I have a number of people around me. And I have, I've kind of wired myself into a hospital here, but it's definitely not on the same level as Roanoke. And it's too bad that John can't be, humble and generous, because that is his nature. He really is humble and generous. But, see, the thing is, I've been doing research because part of my thing is about PTSD. And so I experienced, when I was working at the VA during the Vietnam War, they called it shell shock then. But guys, and so my job was, I was a bedpan guy, but I was a shrink too, and I was the, alternative medicine guy, right? But my, so I would, they'd roll these guys in, I would start having them talk about their experience, right? And I would, and they couldn't sleep. Their adrenaline was going, they'd be like, just a little leaf would blow on the window and they'd be, and so they couldn't sleep. And if you can't sleep, that's when you go nuts. And that's what PTSD is. It's this adrenaline response. And, they had no research on this, but I'm observing it, right? And I'm trying to treat it with acupuncture and massage and herbs. And there's a number of spots in your body that if you put, like in your ears, you can get rid of certain addictions. I wrote a whole paper on it and sent it into, through my boss into the thing. And, they just laughed. Now today, the Army does exactly what my paper wrote about. And my poor boss, he got shot because he was, he died. He got Karen Silkwood on the New Jersey Turnpike because he was heading to D.C. to go in front of a congressional hearing about this, and I still had 4 years left in my contract when they came in. So Colonel said, "You're released." So I'm released. He said, "Well, you don't have to work here anymore." The first 3 years, I wasn't even working there. I was sent all over the world to study with these alternative healer masters, like my sensei. So that's how my life rules. Right? There was not much I could do about my poor dead boss, but you know, be glad that he was my mentor for 2.5 years. And he put me on a path. And again, he was a fork in the road. That was a real pin in my life. And made me the sensei I am today. And by getting released, I was part of Robert Wilson Dance Company and got stranded in New Mexico and ended up, working in Los Alamos and San Diego and Kirkland Air Force Base and seeing some pretty weird shit. That was 71 to 73. So, that's the bottom line of where we are today. So, Kava. So things are going to start really happening, gang. And wherever you are, try to see the big picture and don't get stuck. Don't get stuck in a job. Don't get stuck in a mommy daddy thing. Don't get stuck in reliving stuff that happened in grade school. Now, there are a lot of things that happened to me that I could, be stuck on. But I was very blessed to have a grandma who kind of, wouldn't let bad situations. So I experienced the kind of stress and anxiety that caused PTSD. I just had healers off the stage right and left who helped me get through it immediately. And that's the whole thing about stress. You take care of that disruption immediately. You don't wait 9-10 years, right? And got to, I read some journals the other day when I was at my military doctor friend, CDC boy, and he gets all the journals, just like I used to get all the alternative technology journals and all the high physics journals and all the paranormal journals. And these aren't things that we would see on Gaia. Small little communities that we're part of. Oh, my connection's unstable. I guess I'm talking about things I don't want to hear. But you guys need to hear it and see it and taste it and feel it and know it, right? Because I love you and I don't want to see you screwed up. Nope. I want you to live a life to your highest potential. And I've been with John for those 3 years. Well, not even 3 years. It was more like 15 months. Because all told, kind of went through it. He threw me under the bus 32 different times. And after the 10th time, why you go back that guy? Well, because he'd be begging me to come back. I still had more to learn. And I thought I could help him. I have helped him a great deal. By now, he's been up there now. It's been 172 days since he threw me out in June. And I've only been back twice for less than 10 hours. First time, I got there in the afternoon, made him dinner. We talked a little bit. He went up and then he threw me out in the morning. And I could feel that he was like pacing around. I had packed my car up. And he said, "You got to go." I said, "See you, John." Just drove. But wait a minute. Don't you want to? And I just drove down the hill, my car full of stuff. So the next time he begged me to come back, in August, I didn't last more than 4 hours. I thought I'd at least have the morning. So when he kicked in the door and it was dark, and you gotta go. And I said, well, I came here to get some, you gotta go. Ah! And I'm sure he had like 6 cups of coffee before he did that. And that's the thing, if you know that something's going to really torch your screw, you should not do it. And I've done enough of overdoing things to know how to do it. So where between now and I go home, I'm going to be Mr. Moderation. That's what I have been for the last 4 or 5 years. That's how I lost 240 pounds. Right now, it's interesting. I don't have the fat, but I have the skin. And luckily, I didn't have that on my neck or stuff because that looks, but around my gut, I got these little flabby things of skin. Unless I want to get, there's no like extras, there's no little, weights I can stick on my skin, there's no, anyway. So, spinach. Spinach is one of them. Eat because it's soft enough. Now, kid, I can still break it down. So, what else? So these wars, look what's happening to the Mideast. The CIA perpetrated the breakup. Syria, Iraq, Libya, Beirut. These were all places that were in pretty good shape. Everyone was at least somewhat happy, had a job, getting educated. They were moving up the scene, and then they went in and just blew the place, right? And now it's been 20 years, and the people are sick of it, and they're sick of being factionalized. And they're sick of being Christians against the Muslims about the Hutus and the this and the that, and they say, screw this. We don't want to be played anymore. And that's what's happening to America, gang. Everything that you're seeing in the Middle East is going to happen right here in the USA in the next 14 months. Tanks in the street. Most Americans are armed.